Welcome back, guys. My name is Fernando Herrera, and in this video I'm going to be explaining to you why you need a master budget. And if you don't even understand or know what this master budget means, don't worry, because I'm going to be breaking it down in this video. But trust me, when you understand what a master budget does, you will be able to look into the future, predict things, and people will start to just look at you in amazement and saying, wow, how is this guy even knowing that this is going to happen? And it happens. And of course, I'm referring to business revenue, and again, I'll get into that in just a moment. But before we continue, don't forget to help me by smashing that like button. It really helps my videos kind of get that boost to help YouTube show this video to others. And also consider subscribing. I do post every Wednesday for related to the tire industry or just, business related tips. Now, before I can tell you why you need a master budget, like I said, I do want to explain what is a master budget. A master budget really is just a budget that's comprised by multiple budgets. And so what does that mean? In summary, I like to think it as a map that you're drawing, and it's going to tell you directions of where you want to go exactly by the street and all that stuff for your business. So it's a map that you're drawing for your business on where you want to be or where you want to go. Once you build that map, you simply just focus on the day-to-day and you follow those, because again, if you've heard something about goals, if you say, hey, I want to sell $1 million in sales, I don't know, this year, well, you break it down to the month, and then you break it down to the week, and then you break it down to the day. And then eventually this very overwhelming goal becomes very manageable by just focusing on one day. So master budgets are comprised by 5 budgets. So again, I know it could be different, but this is how I learned how master budgets are made. So master budget, of course, you're going to have a sales budget, which again, I'm going to talk in just a bit more. Sales really just refers as to how much are we selling, how much are we forecasting to sell. Purchasing budget is this number second. Purchasing budget, again, is just how much are we expecting to purchase? How much are we expecting to buy from goods or whatever, or tires in this case, right? And then budget number 3 would be an expense budget. So how much are we expecting to spend in payroll and advertising, every sort of expense, whether it's fixed or variable, and I'll explain those in just a moment. Then there's a 4th optional budget that you can include. You can exclude this. Again, I normally sometimes exclude it, sometimes it's helpful, but it's a cash flow budget, So if you're wanting to avoid cash flow constraints whenever you're buying your merchandise, then this cash flow budget can help you determine when you're gonna need more cash, when you're not gonna need cash. And it's actually quite helpful when, again, you're struggling to pay vendors, or you want to have just more organization when it comes to your cash flow. And 5th is really just a summary of all these budgets. It's called the income statement budget. If you don't know what an income statement is, it's just really a report that tells you how much profit you're making after expenses. And so again, it's just your sales minus your purchases minus your expenses equals your net profit. So now, as for part 2 of the video, why do you need a master budget? Well, for example, let's say that I have a tire shop and I want to make $100,000 in profit every month after expenses and purchases. Well, with a master budget, I can literally just plug in the numbers in my master budget, and it will be able to tell me exactly how much I have to sell, how much I have to buy in products, how much I should expect to spend in advertising, marketing, staff, whatever expense I might encounter, processing fees, all that stuff. And then again, I will be able to determine, once I have that budget, if my company is truly moving in that direction, which I wanted to, or if it's totally not moving that direction. This is a tool I personally used in all of my major projects, and it has never disappointed me. Again, other benefits of having a master budget is as follows. Number 1, it will help you focus on the goal. To me, business is like a game, and sales are your score. So as you guys can see, sales right there, I have it. I have sales always in mind, because sales determines if I'm winning or losing my game. I know a lot of people that focus on the day-to-day operation and putting out fires and making sure that they're visiting clients and doing all these things, but at the end of the day, they're not focusing on that specific goal. Where do we have to be in order to hit that goal? And what is the goal? With the goal, you just make it, right? You say, I want $100,000 in profit every month. Then you make your master budget, plug in those sales and purchases and all that stuff. And now with the sales, you have the ability to just say, okay, we got to sell, I don't know, $100,000 every week, which is roughly $10,000 every day, which again, now I have that number. If I really want those $100,000 in profit, I know that I have to sell $10,000 every day. So in summary, knowing where you want to go and knowing what you have to do in order to get there, it's very important, and the master budget can definitely help you with that. The second thing a master budget helps you with, it predicts the future. So if you create a master budget with historical trends in mind, and historical trends, it just means, you get all the information you've gathered from your past years of sales every month, if you can every week. But you gather all this information and you start seeing trend lines, pretty much historical graphs of saying, hey, I've noticed that September's for me are really, really good, and January's are really, really slow. So you can start to predict that maybe on January I might not need as much payroll or staff in my store because it's normally kind of slow, but in September I want to maximize on my staff and I want to make sure that every customer that comes in is maximized. And so again, this helps you predict the future, because if suddenly you know that it's September, we're starting September, you're going to start hiring people because you know that September is going to get busy. And that alone is going to look like, why are we hiring when, maybe it's not that busy? Well, we're hiring because it's going to get busy based on our historical master budget trends. This also will help you with your team in providing some accomplishable goals. I really hate guesstimates. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced a company or a owner or manager that gives you just guesstimates of saying, hey, well, what's my goal? What do I have to do to get that bonus? And they just give you a number that you feel that they're just guessing it. And so with a master budget, when you consider historical trends and a percentage of growth that you want to grow, then suddenly it becomes a very manageable goal. Because let's say that we have a company that has been selling $10,000 on average every week for the last 3 years. And this year you set the goal at 12,000 because we have been growing, let's say a 10% or 20% growth rate. And we want to push our sales team to really get that extra bump of 20% growth on our company. So this would be a very reasonable goal to establish. And again, thanks to the master budget, you would be able to come up with those numbers and even factor in some commissions in your expense budget if you like, so that you never have to come up with these unexpected commission expenses that you didn't consider in your report. Now, the third thing that a master budget does is motivates your staff. And this goes similar to what I was just explaining some moments ago. But if you have people that are helping you out in your sales budget or just getting sales, and you provide them with a reasonable goal that can be accomplished, it will motivate them a lot, because they will see that as the days come through, they're very close either to hitting the goal or they're hitting their goal. And so again, if they don't put the effort, of course, they're not going to hit the goal. But once they do put that effort, people that do put the effort will be rewarded with that energy and drive of saying, man, this is accomplishable. We can do this. And will really make your staff and your employees work like never before. Again, I personally believe that you should offer a commission or an incentive, because incentives really push people to do something extra. I know some companies don't like incentives, but I think that when it comes to sales, there has to be an incentive to help people kind of go that extra mile. And then again, if they bring that extra sale and it helps your bottom line, then why not help them out along the way as well? Now, the fourth and final reason why you need a master budget is to control better your expenses. This is one of my favorite reasons, because really with a master budget, you're able to predict, again, the future of how much you're going to need to spend. So for example, let's say that I want to make those $100,000 in profit every month. And I know that in order to get there, I needed to hire X amount of people. Let's just say, X, but we also have to make X amount of sales. The moment I start noticing that, hey, you know what, we should be around $100,000 in sales per week. And then suddenly, once I start seeing my key performance indicators or just my results, I notice that we're selling less than 100,000. Then it gives me time immediately to just react and say, okay, we got to change something, because if we continue this trend, I'm going to be losing money, and that's not what we want. We don't want to get towards the end of the month, check the numbers and say, oh my goodness, we lost money, we didn't make it. Really, the whole point of a master budget is really to help you evaluate this, if you can, day by day, and if you can't, then week by week, and then doing some changes along the way. So again, if you're not meeting that $100,000 goal, then at least, maybe reduce your staff, or maybe reduce marketing, or maybe allocate marketing to a different type of marketing type or channel. So again, by having a master budget, it will allow you to control better expenses, know whether you're spending where you're supposed to be spending, if you're going over budget in advertising and your payroll, or any other thing. But well guys, now that I've talked about the reasons why you need a master budget, I do think that I will be doing another video on how to actually build and create your own master budget. I'm still not 100% sure. If you are interested in a master budget, I have sold these master budgets before. You know, I have a template. It's a pretty elaborate template that I could just share with you guys. I don't mind that. But I do have also another service that I could just build a master budget for you. You'll give me all the specifics of your business, some historical information. We'll plug it into the master budget and provide it to you. Not to mention that is one of the features I do want. Entire base is not fully integrated, or it's not even created yet. But again, ideally that point of system should have the ability to do a master budget as well. Because I think it's a very important and crucial part of business. So again, guys, if you do want a part 2, part 3, or a video explaining on how specifically to build or create your master budget, feel free to comment below. Also, don't forget by smashing that like button. Help me by subscribe as well. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram too. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Again, I'll see you guys again in the next video. Thank you so much. Peace.